this one is following on again from earlier. I was talking about walking away from anxiety, so this is that video. So basically the whole principle that I'm talking about here is the idea of neural pathways. And as fate would have it, I'm walking up a pathway right now. Neural pathways, so what that means is that obviously your brain is comprised of a very large number of neurons, and so your brain is technically a neural network. And when we learn, those synapses and neurons create pathways. So you have a neural pathway in place for making toast. You have a neural pathway in place for hugging people that you love, and you have a neural pathway in place for driving a car. And you have a neural pathway in place to react with fear and anxiety. It's a learned habit. Go back down that path. It's so nice. Because this is all about paths. And anyone that knows me knows I'm all about visualization, and I'm a very visual, imaginative person. And what I'm experiencing at the moment is recognizing that I have built several neural pathways that aren't necessarily necessary. You know, they're based on fear. They're based on a childish mental condition. You know, their pathways are created when I was young, when I was immature and insecure, and they still have power over me because my brain trips down those passageways. I come to them and I'm like, oh, I better go down that one. But I know better. Even though I know better, I'm still finding myself, going down them. What I have learned is that the way that one undoes these neural pathways is to create new ones and just stop walking them. Many years ago, I was going through a very difficult time, and I was very lost. I was having a very difficult time. And rang my mum, and she talked to me about this, and she said it's like a field of grass, and the pathways through the grass that you walk consistently creates these pathways. And really it's about letting those pathways get overgrown again, which is kind of where my analogies come in here. And so the way to undo these learned patterns of anxiety, from what I'm learning, is to stop walking the paths. Now, I've actually created this sort of visual of the path, and it's really beautiful. I see the paths as, well, one path in particular, which is my sort of anxiety path. I'm seeing it now off to my one side, and again, with art, with imagination and artistry, for me anyway, it's about just picking an imagery and going with it. Picking an image and just going with it. If it works for you, it's almost like placebo works. It's all right. Just if it works for you psychologically, then use that as a tool. So for me, it's off to the side, and it's like this overgrown path that I once kind of loved in a way. I certainly walked it a lot, and maybe it served a purpose of some kind for me, even if it was a little bit masochistic and a little bit attention-seeking, perhaps, or if it was just an innocent habit of pain that I got into. I don't know. But anyway, it's like I have to walk away from it. And even now it beckons me. It's hard, man. Ah, sweet sorrow, though our dances were slow, I just have to let you go. And there's a certain melancholy, there's a certain attachment to these feelings of depression or sadness or fear, because it defines you, it gives you boundaries, and perhaps being a little bit enlightened is a bit scary because there are no apparent boundaries, you know, and that's just part of it, you know. Whatever my motivations were, I do know that that path doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't lead anywhere. It was never necessary. It was just a wandering, and I can see some glowing paths ahead. So I walk ahead, and when I see that path with its rusty gate and its overgrown leaves and its beckoning trees, I'm stopping and I'm breathing and I'm going, I have to walk away. I have to walk away. I'm turning from this side, which is where I've chosen to personify that path, and I'm looking ahead and I'm seeing that there are other paths, many of them. And what I'm finding is freedom and happiness and motivation and productivity. It all seems to flood back. You know, it all seems to come back, that love and that connection and that patience and the belief. And it all really is coming for me from that letting go, finally letting go and just going, you know what? No. It's the Michael. So I'm just going to go forward. And what I find is, and people talk about dance and music and sex and archery and driving cars and riding motorbikes and mowing the lawn, all ways of getting out of your head and into the present moment, and you see the illusions of the stuff that was bothering you. Yeah, you can do it in a moment. Just walk away.